Hey Stampers, Kim from stampingimperfection.com. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to share a quick tip that I have. One of the things whenever I get a new, like if I get new watercolors, if I get new markers or something like that, I always swatch them. And I always swatch my ink pads too. I actually have shared that tip with you before. And let me just show you. Like I have this swatch kit that I got from Simon Says Stamps, so I have this ring of like all my Altenew colors, so I can pull this out, and since this ring I can open it, I can pull these off and put them together and see what colors I want to go together. And I have one of these for my Catherine Pooler inks, and I have one of these rings for my Distress Oxides also. Those are the three different ink brands that I use: Altenew, Catherine Pooler, Distress Oxides. And I have created, finally, a swatch sheet that actually lines up with my ink pad storage. So I actually have the Stampin' Storage ink pad holders, and the ones that I have are the 120 panel or slot ink pad holders, which are perfect for the Altenew and the Catherine Pooler. The Distress Oxides, I had to get the Distress Oxide ink pad holder from Stampin' Storage, because those pads are just a little bit, they're just a little bit wider, so they don't quite fit in the regular thin pad one. So I had to get a special one for those. But what I've done, and I've done this with my Catherine Pooler and my Altenew, I'm going to do it next with my Distress Oxides, but I've created this swatch sheet, so I have it all in one place, and it's organized in the same order that my colors are organized on my in my ink pad holder. And I've written the name, and I just wrote the name, I didn't type it out. I'm not going to be that much of a perfectionist. You can certainly type the names in if you want to, or you can use your label maker and make it super neat. But I took a stamp and then I just stamped each one. And what I did was, after I created this, because I just created it on the computer and printed it out on regular paper, but then I used this and just printed several of these out on cardstock, because I want to be able to look at this and see what it looks like on the cardstock that I'm using. And when I got all done, I actually laminated it, so I have this and I keep it on my desk, and I can select colors from this as I'm working on my card designs or my project designs. And I did the same thing with the Catherine Pooler one. And I created this with an extra row and an extra column, and I'm glad I did that, because after I created it, Altenew came out with a few more inks, so I was able to just include those on there. I do have those in a separate ink pad holder because it only holds 120, so all of these are in the first ink pad holder, and then I bought a small ink pad holder for the spillover, which will also have to work for the spillover of the Distress Oxides, because now Tim Holtz came out with he's coming out with some new Distress Oxide colors, so that'll have to go here also. So I just cut, when I cut down the Catherine Pooler one, I took the extra piece and I just made a separate one. I didn't laminate this because I had enough room to include them on the original sheet, but I will make a key with the colors for that particular ink pad holder. So I will keep these on my desk and I can refer to them, and it's pretty nice actually. So, and I put them in the order that works for me. I have them by rainbow order, and I kept the Altenew ones by collections so that I have them, and I kept the Catherine Pooler ones. I didn't keep the Catherine Pooler ones by collection. I put them in order, an order that made sense to me, in the order that I look for them. So what I did do though, let me see if I have that here, is I also laminated Because whenever you order, like I just ordered some ink refills from Catherine Pooler, whenever you order inks or ink refills, they send one of these cards with the ink collection on them. So this, I laminated this because now I have a key for what colors go in each collection. So if I want to, if I'm not feeling particularly inspired, I can pick colors from the same collection to coordinate together. So, you know, we all have those days where we want a little help. These are the collections that Catherine Pooler designed together. So I have them in order of rainbow color in a way that works for me. So, because that's how I always look for them. And I did that in a sense here. They're in rainbow order in a way that works for me, but I kept, because Altenew sells them in 3 to 4 colors that layer together, I kept those layered ones together on my key. So I really like having this laminated because remember, these are dye inks with the exception of Catherine Pooler's Midnight Black ink. That is a pigment ink. The rest of these are dye inks. So if you have this on your desk and it's not laminated and you know, squirt your distress sprayer on a project and miss and hit your the swatch sheet that you work so hard on, it will cause the inks to bleed and get splotchy. So you want to be careful about that. So a laminator is a nice thing to have. And if you wait until back to school sales at the office supply stores, you can get I have a Scotch 3M Scotch laminator that I got for a really good price at back to school sales, but you have to go early because the teachers will be out there to get those laminators and the laminating supplies. And when I purchased my laminator, I purchased two packages of the regular paper size 8.5 by 11 inch laminating sheets. So I purchased 2 boxes of those at the same time, and I've had those forever. So I laminate quite a bit of stuff, but just, you know, I've had those forever. So I'm going to share this template on my blog, and I will share it as a Word document and a PDF document. It's just a, you know, basically a data table that I put. I originally started to make it just 120 boxes, but then I decided to put an extra row and an extra row and an extra column here, and I'm glad I did that. So you can adjust it and you can type in it and do whatever works for you, but this works for me. So I will share this on my blog at stampingimperfection.com. So if you don't feel like making your own, you can just print this, and as in the Word document, you could just eliminate and delete columns and rows if you want to make a smaller one. I just cut it down. This was a full sheet. I just cut down the part that I needed, and then I saved that for my, I saved the other half for my Distress Oxide inks. So there you go. I hope that that's helpful. And again, you can find that template on my blog at stampingimperfection.com. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like and share with your friends, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell so you get notifications every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.